Elena stood by the tall glass window of her high-rise office, her sharp suit neat, her hair tied in a tight bun. Outside, the city buzzed with life, cars rushing, people walking, lights blinking. But inside, Elena felt empty. Her office was filled with awards, contracts, and computers, yet none of it mattered the way it once had. Not today. Not when she thought of Lily, her daughter, 8 years old, silent. She had not spoken a single word since she was 4. Elena knew the reason. The memory haunted her. Lily had fallen from the playground slide, hitting her head. Though doctors had said it was minor, something inside Lily had changed forever. The little girl had stopped speaking. She didn't cry loudly anymore, didn't call for her mother. Only silence. Elena sighed and picked up her phone. Pictures of Lily appeared on the screen. Her big brown eyes looked at the camera as if asking questions she could not answer. Her small hands clutched a stuffed rabbit, her favorite toy. Elena's heart ached. She had been so busy, always running from one meeting to another, always thinking about the next deal, the next big project. She had promised herself she would make time, but somehow the promises were empty. She closed her eyes. She had to do something. She could not let another day pass where Lily stayed in her quiet world, untouched by life outside their apartment. "I need to fix this," she whispered to herself. By evening, Elena made a decision. She called the hotel she had stayed at once for a business meeting, a luxurious place with gardens and fountains. She booked a weekend for herself and Lily, just the two of them. No meetings, no phones, no distractions. The next morning, Lily walked beside Elena, holding her mother's hand tightly. Her small frame was wrapped in a pink dress, her hair in 2 neat braids. She looked nervous, her eyes wide at the movement of the city streets. Elena bent down and brushed a strand of hair from Lily's face. "It's okay, baby," she said, softly. Lily responded with a small nod, not a word, but the gesture was enough for Elena. The hotel lobby was bright, filled with flowers and sunlight. Elena lifted Lily in her arms and carried her to the elevator. Lily's fingers curled around her mother's neck, her little face resting against Elena's shoulder. There was a tension between them, silent but heavy. Elena felt it. Lily's muteness was not just silence. It was a wall built of fear, memory, and loneliness. They reached the hotel garden. Elena put Lily down. The garden stretched wide, full of colorful flowers, green grass, and winding paths. A fountain splashed in. The center. Birds chirped from the trees, and butterflies moved gracefully among the flowers. "Look, Lily," Elena said. "It's beautiful." Lily blinked, her eyes taking in the colors and movement. She stepped forward slowly, her small shoes brushing the grass. Her tiny fingers reached out to touch a flower, then pulled back. Elena followed, her heart aching. As she watched her daughter move with caution, as if the world was too big and too loud. "Take your time, sweetie," Elena said. Nearby, a hotel maid, Nia, noticed them. She was young, with dark skin and a warm smile. She carried a small basket of fresh flowers and a watering can. Nia paused when she saw Lily, sensing her hesitation. Something about the little girl's quiet presence made Nia approach carefully. "Hello," Nia said softly, kneeling down to Lily's level. "Would you like to help me water the flowers?" Lily's eyes widened. She looked at her mother. Elena smiled faintly. "It's okay," she whispered. Nia offered a small watering can. Lily took it, her fingers wrapping around the handle slowly. She walked toward a patch of sunflowers, mimicking Nia's movements. Elena watched silently, amazed. Her daughter was participating, interacting with someone, without a single word. But it was something. It was progress. The sun was warm. The air smelled of roses and grass. Elena felt a small happiness she had not felt in years. She let herself relax, watching Lily laugh softly as she poured water on the plants. It was a sound so light, so tiny, yet it struck Elena's heart with a force she did not expect. "Mom?" Lily suddenly looked up, tilting her head. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. She tried again, the effort clear in her small face. Elena knelt beside her. "It's okay, baby. Just breathe," Elena said gently. But Lily did not need words to express herself. Her gestures, her wide eyes, the small smile that crept across her face. It was communication. It was a bridge forming between them. Elena realized then how much she had missed. Not just the sound of her daughter's voice, but the moments of connection, of shared attention, of small adventures together. The city, her office, her contracts, they all felt distant and meaningless now. As the day went on, Lily explored more of the garden. She chased a butterfly, crouched to watch ants march along the dirt, and even held Elena's hand to climb a small hill. Elena laughed when Lily nearly tripped, catching her just in time. The sound of her own laughter mixed with her daughter's. Tiny giggles was like music she had forgotten existed. By evening, they sat near the fountain, Lily leaning against her mother, exhausted but happy. Elena looked at her daughter, tears welling in her eyes. She whispered a promise she had said too late too many times. "I will be here, Lily. Always." And for the first time in years, the silence between them felt gentle, not heavy. It was fragile, yes, but also full of hope. Little did Elena know, their weekend was just beginning. And somewhere nearby, Nia watched with quiet anticipation, knowing that this was the first step toward a miracle neither mother nor daughter could yet imagine. The next morning, sunlight poured into the hotel garden, turning the dew on the flowers into tiny diamonds. Elena woke early, quietly pulling on a comfortable dress. She looked at Lily, who was still asleep in the soft hotel bed, her small chest rising and falling with calm breaths. Elena smiled softly and whispered, "Today will be a good day, baby." When Lily woke, she rubbed her eyes and clung to her mother. Elena knelt down, brushing the strands of hair from her face. "Good morning. Lily, ready for the garden?" Lily's small nod was the only answer, but it was enough. The garden awaited them. The air was fresh, filled with the scent of roses and jasmine. Birds chirped from tall trees, and a fountain in the center sparkled under the morning sun. The sea. Paths were lined with flowers of every color, yellow sunflowers, red roses, purple tulips. Elena took Lily's hand, guiding her along a stone path. "See, Lily? Isn't it pretty?" Elena asked, her voice gentle. Lily's eyes moved slowly across the garden. She hesitated at first, but curiosity shone through her cautious expression. Her small hand squeezed her mother's. Elena could see that her daughter wanted to explore, but something inside her held back. A fear of the unknown, perhaps, or simply a lifetime of silence. Nearby, Nia, the hotel maid, was tending to the flower beds. She noticed the small pair walking carefully through the garden. Her dark eyes softened when she saw Lily's quiet curiosity. There was something fragile yet beautiful about the girl. Nia approached slowly, careful not to startle her. "Hello there," Nia said warmly, kneeling to Lily's level. "Would you like to help me with the flowers?" Lily's eyes flicked to her mother. Elena smiled faintly and nodded. "It's okay," she whispered. Nia offered Lily a small watering can, decorated with little painted flowers. Lily's fingers trembled slightly as she took it, gripping it with both hands. Her lips pressed together in concentration, and for a moment, Elena thought Lily might pull back. But she didn't. She followed Nia to a patch of bright sunflowers. "Here," Nia said softly, "you can water these, just like me." She demonstrated, tilting her can slowly so the water poured gently onto the soil. Lily copied her movements, spilling a few drops on her hands, giggling softly at the sensation. It was the first time Elena had seen her daughter laugh in weeks, a pure, unforced sound. Elena felt a warmth rise in her chest. She had expected this trip to be quiet, maybe even boring, but seeing Lily interact with someone, even without words, filled her with hope. The morning passed in small steps. Nia showed Lily how to pick up fallen petals carefully, how to follow a butterfly along the flower beds, how to touch a leaf without crushing it. Lily imitated everything, her small hands moving slowly but deliberately. Elena watched silently, afraid to break the delicate moment. At one point, Lily spotted a bright yellow butterfly resting on a rose. She froze, eyes wide, and pointed silently. Nia smiled and whispered, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Lily's lips moved slightly, as if trying to form a word. Elena's heart jumped, but the sound never came. Lily's small fingers wiggled in excitement, and then she reached toward the butterfly, moving carefully so as not to scare it away. Elena knelt beside her daughter. "You're doing so well, Lily," she said softly. Lily looked at her, eyes bright, and smiled. It was a small, timid smile, but it lit up her face like sunlight breaking through clouds. As they walked further into the garden, Nia picked a small daisy and handed it to Lily. "Here," she said, "for you." Lily took it carefully, holding it close to her chest. She looked at Nia and then at Elena, her eyes wide with wonder. Elena felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. She had tried everything, therapists, doctors, even speech exercises at home, but nothing had worked like this. Lily responded to kindness, patience, and care. She responded to someone who made her feel safe. Nia crouched again, smiling gently. "Would you like to plant this somewhere?" she asked. Lily nodded eagerly, holding the daisy as she followed Nia to a small patch of soil. Together, they dug a tiny hole, placed the flower, and covered it carefully. Lily patted the soil with her small hands, looking proud. Elena could not help but speak softly, almost to herself. "She's so brave." Lily glanced at her, then back at the flower, her expression thoughtful. She did not speak, but her eyes told Elena everything. They continued through the garden, Lily moving more confidently now. She reached for a swing hanging from a tree branch, and with Nia's help, she sat and swung slowly. The wind blew through her hair and she laughed again, this time a little louder. Elena watched, her heart swelling with a mixture of pride, relief, and love. By afternoon, the three of them sat under a large oak tree. Lily had collected flowers, touched butterflies, and even tried mimicking bird sounds softly. Elena noticed a change, a spark of life that had been missing for so long. She reached over and held her daughter's hand, squeezing gently. "Thank you," Elena whispered to Nia, her voice thick with emotion. Nia smiled and nodded, understanding that words were not always necessary. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, the garden glowed with warm, golden light. Elena realized that the weekend was more than a break from her work. It was a chance to rebuild a connection she had feared lost forever. And somewhere inside, she knew that Lily was beginning to trust the world again, slowly, one step at a time. Nia leaned back on her heels and whispered softly to Elena, "Give her time. She's ready, but she'll go at her own pace." Elena nodded, watching Lily pick a small violet from the grass and place it in her hair. The little girl looked radiant, alive, and for the first time in a long time, Elena felt hope. This was only the beginning. The morning sun was soft and warm, spilling gold over the hotel garden. Birds chirped in the trees, and the fountain's water sparkled as it danced in the breeze. Lily sat on a small bench, legs swinging lightly, holding the tiny bouquet of flowers she had picked the day before. Her brown eyes followed every movement, each butterfly, each leaf trembling in the wind. Elena knelt beside her daughter, brushing a strand of hair behind Lily's ear. "Do you like it here, baby?" she asked gently. Lily blinked slowly, then gave a small nod. Her silence was always present, but her gestures were becoming more expressive, more deliberate. Elena felt a warmth she had almost forgotten, a feeling of hope and connection. Nearby, Nia tended to the flower beds, humming softly as she worked. She noticed Lily watching her carefully. With a smile, Nia wiped her hands on her apron and walked over. "Good morning, Lily. Did you sleep well?" she asked, her voice calm and welcoming. Lily looked up at Nia. Her lips moved slightly, forming shapes, but no sound came out. Still, her eyes sparkled with curiosity. Elena noticed the shift in her daughter, the subtle way she was trying to communicate. Nia knelt, holding out her hand with a small, hand-carved wooden bird she had made for Lily. "I made this for you," Nia said softly. "Would you like to hold it?" Lily's small fingers reached for the bird, gripping it carefully. She turned it over, studying the details, the carved wings, the painted feathers. Her eyes widened in fascination. Elena watched, silently, her heart swelling. Her daughter's world, once silent and locked away, was beginning to open. "Do you like it?" Nia asked gently. Lily nodded, then looked up at her mother. Elena smiled. "She loves it," she whispered. Nia placed the bird in Lily's lap and pointed to a small sandbox nearby. "You can make a little home for your bird here," she suggested. Lily hesitated, then slowly followed Nia's instructions. She dug small holes, built tiny walls, and placed the bird carefully inside. She looked so focused, so alive, that Elena felt tears prick her eyes. "You're very careful," Nia said warmly. "I think your bird feels safe with you." Lily's eyes met Nia's. She tilted her head, trying to form a word, but only a faint whisper escaped. Elena noticed the effort, the tiny movement of lips and tongue, and felt a mix of awe and sadness. She wished she could hear her daughter's voice, even for a moment. "Do you want to name your bird?" Nia asked softly. Lily nodded slowly. She tapped the little bird with her finger and pointed to her lips. Elena held her breath, waiting. Lily's lips moved again, a tempting sound, but still no word came out. Nia leaned closer, whispering gently, "That's okay, Lily. You can try again. Take your time." Something shifted. Lily's small hands trembled slightly, but she repeated the movement. Her lips whispered, almost inaudible, the first sound that felt intentional. Nia smiled, encouraging her without pressure. Lily's eyes widened with a mixture of pride and surprise at what she had attempted. Elena felt a strange mixture of hope and fear. This tiny sound was the first bridge being built, a fragile connection between Lily's inner world and the people around her. She realized how patient and gentle Nia was, understanding exactly how to help Lily feel safe and brave. The rest of the morning passed in quiet exploration. Lily followed Nia through the garden, touching petals, leaning close to smell the flowers, and even mimicking the way Nia watered the plants. Elena observed silently, letting her daughter lead, letting Nia guide gently. She knew she had been trying too hard in the past, pushing therapy and exercises, but now, seeing Lily respond naturally, she understood the power of kindness and patience. At one point, Lily spotted a small group of ladybugs crawling on a leaf. She crouched, pointing excitedly. Nia crouched beside her, speaking softly. "Look at them, Lily. Aren't they tiny?" Lily's eyes followed the bugs, and she reached out a small finger. One crawled across her hand, and she giggled softly. A sound so delicate, it was almost like a whisper of wind. Elena felt her chest tighten with emotion. This was progress, small but beautiful. After a while, they sat under a cherry blossom tree, its petals drifting down like soft pink snow. Lily clutched the wooden bird, watching the petals fall. Nia reached into her apron pocket and pulled out a small brush and watercolors. "Would you like to paint?" she asked. Lily's eyes lit up, and she nodded eagerly. Elena watched as Lily painted delicate flowers, butterflies, and birds. She noticed how focused and happy her daughter was, how free she seemed from the walls of silence that had trapped her for so long. Nia guided her gently, praising each stroke, making Lily's confidence grow. "See, Lily," Nia said softly, "you can make beautiful things with your hands, and maybe one day, with your voice too." Lily looked at Nia, then at Elena, and smiled. She did not speak, but her eyes said it all. Elena felt tears spill down her cheeks. She realized the weekend had already begun to heal something in Lily, something deeper than she had imagined. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the garden, Lily leaned against her mother. Elena wrapped her arms around her, whispering, "You're safe, baby. I'm here." Lily's small fingers clutched Elena's shirt, and for the first time in a long while, the silence felt warm, not empty. Elena glanced at Nia, who gave a quiet nod, her dark eyes kind and understanding. Elena knew that Nia's patience and love had sparked something in Lily, something small but powerful, the beginning of her voice. And as the evening approached, Elena realized that their journey had just begun. A fragile connection had been made one step at a time, and for the first time, she truly believed that Lily could speak again when the moment was right. The next morning, sunlight filtered gently through the trees of the hotel garden, casting a warm glow over the flowers and paths. The fountain's water sparkled like diamonds, and the soft hum of the city in the distance seemed far away. Lily sat quietly on a small bench, her legs dangling, clutching the wooden bird Nia had given her the day before. Her brown eyes watched the petals float down from the cherry blossom tree, each one drifting like a tiny promise. Elena knelt beside her daughter, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's face. "Good morning, baby," she whispered softly. Lily blinked, then leaned her head against her mother's shoulder, letting her warmth seep in. Elena felt a quiet happiness she hadn't felt in years, a fragile but real connection between them. Nia appeared from the flower beds, carrying a small basket of freshly picked wildflowers. She knelt in front of Lily, smiling warmly. "Good morning, Lily," she said gently. "Would you like to help me make a little bouquet?" Lily's eyes brightened at the suggestion. She reached for a flower, holding it carefully between her small fingers. Nia guided her hands, showing her how to arrange the flowers in a neat little bunch. Elena watched silently, her heart swelling with pride. This simple act, touching and arranging flowers, was a bridge, a small step toward something bigger. Once the bouquet was complete, Nia looked at Lily and spoke softly, kneeling to her level. "Lily, can you say my name for me? Just try. It's okay if you can't. I'll help you." Lily's eyes widened. She stared at Nia, her lips moving slightly as she tried to form the sound. Elena's chest tightened. Her daughter had never tried to speak directly to someone outside the family before. Nia's gentle tone, her calm patience, made Lily feel safe in a way she hadn't felt before. "Take your time, Lily," Nia encouraged softly. "You can do it." Lily closed her eyes, concentrating. Her small hands trembled slightly as she held the bouquet. Her lips whispered something almost inaudible. Elena leaned closer, barely daring to breathe. "Nia?" Lily whispered. Elena froze. Her heart skipped a beat. She looked at Nia, whose eyes widened with surprise and joy. Lily's lips moved again, forming the word more clearly this time. "Nia," she said softly, almost as if testing the sound. Tears blurred Elena's vision. She had waited years to hear her daughter speak, and now it was happening in the soft morning light, with Nia's gentle encouragement guiding her. She felt an overwhelming wave of love, pride, and relief. "That's amazing, Lily," Nia said, her voice full of warmth. "You said it! I'm so proud of you!" She reached out and gently touched Lily's hand. Lily's eyes shone, a mixture of surprise and pride at what she had just accomplished. Elena pulled Lily into her arms, holding her tightly. "You spoke, baby! You really spoke!" she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. Lily leaned into her mother, the weight of years of silence slowly lifting from her small shoulders. The breakthrough did more than surprise Elena, it changed everything. The silence that had seemed so permanent began to feel less heavy. Lily's eyes sparkled with a newfound confidence. She had realized that her voice could exist in the world, that she could connect not only through gestures but with sound. After a few moments, Nia suggested they practice a little more. "Can you say my name again, Lily? Just one more time?" Lily nodded, holding the bouquet tightly. "Nia," she said again, her voice soft but clearer. Each repetition strengthened her confidence. Elena watched, tears streaming down her cheeks, feeling the miracle of these first words. Later, they walked through the garden together. Lily carried her bouquet, occasionally stopping to point at a butterfly or a flower, attempting small words to describe what she saw. Elena stayed close, encouraging, praising, and sharing in her daughter's wonder. "Look at that butterfly." "Lily," Elena said. "Can you say butterfly?" Lily hesitated, concentrating hard. Then she whispered slowly, "But, fly." Elena clapped her hands softly. "Yes, that's it, baby," she exclaimed, hugging her daughter tightly. Lily giggled, delighted by the sound of her own voice and her mother's joy. Nia smiled quietly, kneeling to Lily's level again. "See, Lily, you can do it. Your voice is beautiful." As the day went on, Lily's words became more frequent. Short sentences, small phrases, simple expressions of her thoughts. She asked questions with curiosity, named objects, and even whispered a shy "mom" to Elena. The garden, once a place of quiet exploration, had become a stage for Lily's first real steps into speaking. Elena felt a mixture of awe and gratitude. She realized how patient, kind, and understanding Nia had been. Her daughter's breakthrough was not just about speech. It was about trust, love, and the gentle encouragement of someone who saw the beauty in Lily's quiet heart. As the sun began to set, casting warm orange light across the garden, Elena sat with Lily and Nia near the fountain. Lily rested her head against her mother's shoulder, the small wooden bird clutched in one hand. Her lips moved, forming words slowly but clearly, speaking to Nia, to Elena, and to the world around her. Elena whispered softly, "Thank you, Nia. You've given Lily something I thought I could never give her myself." Nia smiled, shaking her head gently. She had it inside her all along. She just needed to feel safe and loved enough to let it out. Elena hugged her daughter tightly, feeling the warmth of her small body pressed against hers. Lily had spoken, yes, but she had also opened her heart. The silence that had weighed so heavily on their lives was now being replaced by connection, trust, and love. For Elena, it was a moment she would never forget. And for Lily, it was the first step in discovering her own voice in a world that had once felt too loud, too fast, and too full of fear. And as the stars began to twinkle above the hotel garden, the mother and daughter sat together, their hearts full of hope. Something extraordinary had begun, and it was only the start of a beautiful journey. The morning sun painted golden streaks across the hotel garden. Lily ran barefoot on the soft grass, her wooden bird clutched tightly in one hand. Her laughter echoed through the open space, a sound so light and full of joy that Elena felt her chest swell with happiness. It had been 2 days since Lily had spoken her first word, and every moment since had been filled with tiny victories. Elena followed smiling, careful not to rush her daughter. She had learned that pushing Lily too hard would only make her retreat. Now she allowed Lily to lead, following her small footsteps as she explored every corner of the garden. "Look, Mom! A ladybug!" Lily called softly, pointing at a bright red bug crawling along a leaf. Her voice was tentative but clear, the words coming slowly but with confidence. Elena knelt beside her daughter, eyes shining. "Yes, Lily, you found it!" She clapped softly and Lily giggled, the sound mixing with the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. Nia, watching from a distance, smiled quietly. She had spent the last few days helping Lily feel safe, teaching her small ways to express herself, and allowing her voice to grow naturally. She walked over now carrying a small basket of petals. "Would you like to make a flower crown, Lily?" she asked. Lily's eyes lit up. "Yes!" she exclaimed, running to Nia. Her hands moved quickly, picking up petals and weaving them together. Elena watched in awe as Lily concentrated, her small brow furrowed, her lips moving slightly as she whispered the names of the flowers. "Rose, Daisy, Violet." Each word was a step forward, a sign that Lily's world was opening. Elena sat nearby, holding the wooden bird, marveling at the transformation. Just a few days ago, Lily had been hesitant to interact. Now she was speaking, laughing, and showing curiosity about the world around her. Elena felt a deep gratitude toward Nia, who had guided her daughter with patience and love. When the crown was complete, Lily placed it on her head with a proud smile. "Mom, look! I made it!" she said, her voice ringing with excitement. Elena hugged her tightly, whispering, "You did it, baby. You're amazing." After a while, they moved to a small pond in the garden. Lily leaned over the edge, tossing small pebbles into the water. Each splash made her giggle, and she tried to say "splash" every time the stone hit the surface. Elena joined in, tossing a pebble herself, and soon laughter filled the air, blending with the soft sound of the fountain. "Mom, I like this," Lily whispered, her words hesitant but heartfelt. Elena's eyes filled with tears. "I like it too, Lily," she said, hugging her daughter close. "I'm so happy we're here together." Nia knelt beside them, smiling. "She's doing wonderfully, Elena," she said softly. "Your daughter is finding her voice, and it's beautiful to see." Lily looked up at Nia, then at her mother, and said, "Thank you, Nia." Her small voice trembled with emotion, but the words were clear. Elena felt a lump in her throat. Nia had given Lily more than encouragement. She had given her confidence, a sense of safety, and the courage to speak. The day passed with small adventures. They chased butterflies, watched the birds, and explored hidden corners of the garden. Every time Lily attempted a word, Elena encouraged her, clapping softly, praising her gently, and laughing at her little mistakes. Each success made Lily's smile brighter, her steps more confident, her laughter more frequent. By late afternoon, they sat beneath a large oak tree, tired but happy. Lily leaned against her mother, holding the wooden bird and whispering small words about the flowers and butterflies she had seen. Elena listened, her heart full, amazed at how quickly her daughter was opening up. "I love flowers," Lily whispered softly, smiling shyly. Elena hugged her tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I love them too, baby," she said. "And I love you more than anything." Nia sat nearby, quietly watching the scene, her own eyes glistening with emotion. "You've done something amazing here, Elena," she said softly. "You've let her feel safe, and now she's ready to speak more and more each day. Elena nodded, knowing it was true. The bond they had lost over the years was beginning to rebuild, brick by brick, word by word. The love between mother and daughter, once quiet and cautious, was now alive and vibrant. As the sun began to set, painting the garden in warm shades of orange and pink, Lily looked up at her mother. "Mom, can we stay here tomorrow?" she asked, her small voice full of hope. Elena smiled, her heart swelling. "Yes, Lily. We'll stay here as long as you want. We have all the time in the world." The three of them sat together, watching the fountain and the trees, the air filled with the gentle sounds of nature. For Elena, it was more than a day in a beautiful garden. It was a turning point. She realized that love, patience, and presence could rebuild a bond that had felt broken forever. And for Lily, the garden was no longer just a place of quiet observation. It was a space of connection, laughter, and the first steps into a world where her voice could be heard. Elena held her daughter's small hand, feeling the warmth and strength in it. She knew the journey was just beginning, but she also knew that together they could overcome the silence that had kept them apart. And as they watched the sun sink behind the trees, the bond between mother and daughter shone brighter than any sunset could. This was the moment Elena had hoped for, a weekend of healing, laughter, and the beginning of a future filled with words, love, and endless possibilities. The weekend had flown by like a gentle breeze. The hotel garden, with its fountains, flowers, and winding paths, had become a place of wonder and healing for Elena and Lily. Yet now, as the morning sun rose over the hotel, it was time to prepare for their journey home. Lily sat on the edge of the hotel bed, holding the small wooden bird and the bouquet of flowers she had arranged herself. Her brown eyes sparkled with a mixture of excitement and sadness. She had learned so much in these few days: words, laughter, confidence, and leaving felt like leaving a small piece of herself behind. Elena knelt in front of her daughter, brushing the hair from her forehead. "Are you ready to go home, baby?" she asked softly. Lily nodded slowly, her small voice whispering, "Home, yes." Elena smiled, hiding the bittersweet feeling in her chest. The hotel had been a sanctuary, a place where the walls around her daughter's silence had begun to crumble. But home was where their lives had to continue, where they would nurture these new beginnings. Before leaving, Elena made one last stop, in the garden. The flowers glowed in the morning sunlight, and the fountain sparkled as if celebrating the small miracles that had occurred over the weekend. Lily walked slowly, holding her mother's hand and carrying her wooden bird. Every step felt purposeful, confident, and full of wonder. Naya appeared carrying a small basket of freshly picked petals. She knelt down, smiling warmly at Lily. "You've done wonderfully, Lily," she said softly. "Look at all the words you've spoken. You're brave and your voice is beautiful." Lily's eyes brightened and she whispered, "Thank you, Nia." Her voice was clear and filled with pride. Elena's heart swelled. She had seen the transformation firsthand. The shy, silent little girl was now speaking words, expressing herself, and connecting with those around her. Elena knelt beside Nia, taking her hands in hers. "Thank you, Nia," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You've given Lily something I couldn't give her alone. You've helped her find her voice, and I will always be grateful." Nia shook her head gently. "She had it inside her all along," she said softly. "I just helped her feel safe enough to let it out. She's brave, and you've been patient and loving. That's what made the difference." Lily leaned against Elena, holding her mother's hand tightly. "Mom, love, you," she whispered, her small voice trembling with emotion. Elena's chest tightened. She hugged her daughter, holding her close, feeling the warmth and love that had grown so quickly over just a few days. Packing for the journey home was quiet, but filled with excitement. Lily helped carefully place the small bird and the bouquet of flowers into the suitcase. She whispered their names to herself, proud of the words she was able to say. Every word was a step forward, every small sentence a sign of her growing confidence. As they walked out of the hotel garden for the last time, Lily glanced back. "Mom, garden. Come back?" she asked, her voice soft but clear. Elena smiled, squeezing her hand. "Yes, baby, we will come back, and next time we will stay even, longer." The taxi ride home was filled with quiet conversation. Lily pointed at the passing trees and cars, naming them one by one. Tree, car, bird, flower. Elena answered each word, encouraging her, praising her gently. The city outside was familiar, but now it seemed brighter, filled with the promise of new beginnings. When they reached their apartment, Lily stepped inside carefully, carrying her little treasures. Elena followed, feeling a sense of peace she had not felt in years. The apartment, once quiet and heavy with unspoken words, now seemed lighter. Every corner held the potential for laughter, conversation, and connection. Elena placed the wooden bird and flowers on a small table by the window. "These are yours, baby," she said. Lily nodded, whispering softly, "Mine?" "Yes." The evening was calm. Elena prepared a simple dinner, letting Lily help with small tasks. They talked softly. As they worked, the words slow but meaningful. For the first time, Elena realized that even the simplest conversations could hold great joy and importance. After dinner, Elena and Lily sat together on the sofa. Lily rested her head on her mother's shoulder, her small hand clutching Elena's. "Mom, read story?" she whispered. Elena smiled and picked up a book from the shelf. As she read aloud, Lily followed along, occasionally pointing to the pictures and naming them. Every word was a victory, every small sentence a sign of progress. Before bedtime, Elena tucked Lily in. "I'm proud of you, baby," she whispered. "You've done something amazing these past few days. You've spoken words, shared thoughts, and shown me your heart." Lily smiled sleepily, her eyes closing. "Love, Mom, love you," she whispered, repeating the words she had learned to say. Elena kissed her forehead, tears streaming quietly. "I love you too, Lily. More than anything." As she left the room, Elena felt a deep sense of hope. The weekend had been more than a getaway. It had been a turning point. Lily had found her voice, and with it, they had begun to rebuild the bond that had been strained for years. The future felt brighter, filled with words, laughter, and love. Elena sat by the window, looking out at the city lights. She knew that challenges would come, that progress would sometimes be slow, but she also knew that Lily had the courage and strength to keep speaking, to keep growing, and to keep sharing her heart. And in that moment, Elena made a promise to herself and her daughter. She would always be there, listening, encouraging, and loving. They had returned home, but their journey had only just begun. Together, mother and daughter would face the world, their hearts connected, their voices finally ready to be heard. Weeks had passed since their weekend at the hotel garden. The city apartment no longer felt empty or heavy. Instead, it had become a place filled with small joys, laughter, and a growing sense of connection. Lily was learning new words every day. Her voice, once silent and fragile, now rang with curiosity, excitement, and joy. Elena watched her daughter carefully, amazed at the transformation. Lily could now express simple thoughts, ask questions, and even tell small stories about what she imagined. It was not perfect. Her sentences were short, and her words sometimes jumbled. But every attempt was a triumph. One morning, Lily ran to the living room holding the wooden bird she had brought from the hotel. "Mom, bird, fly?" she asked, her small voice full of anticipation. Elena smiled brightly. "Yes, baby, the bird can fly in our stories," she said. "Let's pretend it's flying high in the sky." Together, they spent the morning imagining adventures. Lily described where the bird went, naming flowers and colors, pointing to the windows and outside the balcony. Each word was a small victory, a proof that the silence that had once filled their lives was now giving way to connection and understanding. Elena noticed something remarkable. Lily was initiating conversation, not just responding. She was learning to use her voice as a bridge to the world, expressing feelings and curiosity with confidence. The shy, quiet little girl was now a child discovering her own strength. One afternoon, Nia came to visit. Elena had invited her, knowing how important her presence had been in Lily's breakthrough. Lily's face lit up when she saw Nia at the door. "Nia, hello!" she exclaimed, running forward and hugging her gently. Nia smiled warmly, kneeling to her level. "Hello, Lily. It's so good to see you. How have you been?" Lily's eyes sparkled. "Good. I speak more," she whispered proudly. Elena felt tears prick her eyes. She had seen it, her daughter growing, learning, and thriving. "Yes, baby, you've been speaking so much. I'm so proud of you." Nia knelt beside Lily, taking her small hand. "You've done wonderfully, Lily. And look at all these new words. You're brave and smart, and your voice is beautiful." Lily smiled shyly, then whispered, "Thank you, Nia. Help." Elena hugged both of them, feeling a deep gratitude she could never fully express. Nia had been more than a helper. She had been a guide, a friend, and a gentle bridge between Lily's silent world and the world around her. Without Nia's patience, understanding, and kindness, this transformation might have taken much longer. As the evening approached, Elena sat with Lily on the balcony, watching the city lights twinkle. Lily leaned against her mother, holding the wooden bird in one hand and softly naming the flowers that lined the railing. "Rose, tulip, sunflower," she whispered, and Elena listened, heart full. "Mom, love, you," Lily said suddenly, her voice soft but confident. Elena hugged her tightly. "I love you too, baby, more than anything," she whispered, tears sliding down her cheeks. The city below buzzed with life, but Elena felt only peace. The silence that had once filled their home and hearts was gone, replaced with laughter, words, and the promise of countless shared moments. Later that night, after Lily had gone to bed, Elena reflected on the journey. It had been a challenge, filled with worry, fear, and uncertainty. But the garden, the weekend away, and Nia's guidance had shown her the power of patience, love, and trust. She realized that progress was not about forcing words or pushing therapy. It was about creating a safe space, offering encouragement, and allowing Lily to find her own voice in her own time. That realization filled Elena with a deep sense of gratitude and hope for the future. The next morning, Lily ran to Elena, excitedly holding a small notebook. "Mom, draw and words?" she asked, her small hands pointing to the notebook and colored pencils. Elena smiled. "Yes, baby. Let's draw and write stories together." For hours, they sat side by side, drawing pictures and labeling them with words. Lily carefully wrote each word with her tiny hand, repeating it aloud. "Sun, tree, bird, fly." Every word was a triumph, every sentence a reminder of how far they had come. Elena watched, heart swelling with pride and love. This simple act, Drawing, speaking, laughing together was more than just a hobby. It was the continuation of a journey that had begun in a hotel garden, a journey from silence to voice, from fear to confidence, from distance to connection. Days turned into weeks, and Lily continued to grow. She spoke more words each day, laughed more freely, and even began initiating small conversations with Elena without prompting. Their apartment, once quiet and heavy, was now alive with chatter, music, and the gentle sounds of childhood. Elena knew that the journey would continue. There would be challenges, moments of frustration, and days when words might falter. But she also knew something powerful. Lily's voice was no longer trapped. It had found a path, and with love, patience, and encouragement, it would continue to grow. One evening, as they sat together on the sofa, Elena whispered, "Lily, I am so proud of you. You've found your voice, and you've shown me the true meaning of courage and love." Lily smiled shyly, whispering, "Mom, love, always." Elena hugged her tightly, feeling a wave of warmth and joy she had never known. This was not just a story of speech or words. It was a story of healing, trust, and the bond between mother and daughter, a bond that had been tested, strengthened, and transformed. And as they sat together, watching the stars twinkle outside their window, Elena knew with certainty that their lives had changed forever. The silence was gone, replaced with laughter, words, and a love that would guide them through every tomorrow. It was a new beginning, a life where Lily could speak, dream, and connect, and where Elena could listen, guide, and love without fear. Together they were ready to face the world, their hearts connected, and their voices finally free.